So this is Baruch here at the Tikkun Elevator Kola, and I want to say that for anyone who's listening to these shiurim, like for example this year, illuminating expositions on Jewish thought, that's basically ideal. We're sharing our thoughts, whether you're Jewish or you're Gentile, you're male or you're female. We are showing you our thoughts and let you see them. And I'm trying to choose the ones which are the best because I understand that when we're reading in Hebrew or Aramaic, there may be a lot of people that really can't follow that. It's just too hard, even though we translate it into English. But now we have something here which is actually in English and it's directed towards the world. So whoever wants to learn it can come here and learn. This is Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan, and he is really a master writer. This is a very brief book, little booklet that he actually put out. I don't know if you would call it a booklet, but it's a book. Anyway, it goes to the 13 principle we call the 13 principles of Judaism. Now, these are according to Maimonides, and you may be surprised to find that other people don't necessarily agree with Maimonides. But on the other hand, most everyone agrees that they're tremendous ideas here. So we won't be able to see them, won't be able to put this down. And here we're going to read the second principle. So the words ani maamin means that I believe. I believe. Bamuna shalema, with a complete and total faith. Shehabore, that the Creator, Yisbarach Shemo, may His name be blessed. Hu Yachid, He is one alone. He is alone by Himself. He is an individual. Ve'ein yeshidus kamohu b'shum panim, and there is no other oneness like His in any way at all. V'hu levado Elokeinu, He alone is our God. Now, Elokeinu has to be discussed exactly in other places, maybe what Elokeinu means, but it translates in English into our God. Hoya, He was. Hoveh, He is. V'yihye, and He will be. Okay, that's what this second principle is. This is what Jews believe. Now let's read Rabbi Kaplan's translation, just so we can make sure that I got it right. I believe with perfect faith that God is one. There is no unity that is in any way like His. He alone is our God. He was, He is, and He will be. Now, he takes from the song, He is one. No unity is like His. He is hidden. His unity has no end. Now, let's see some more. Commentary on the Mishnah. The second principle involves the unity of God. We believe that the cause of everything is one. Now listen to that phrase. He says the cause of everything is one. He is not one, however, like a member of a pair of species. He is therefore not like a single thing, which can be divided into a number of elements, because God, I guess, is not a thing. He is not even like the simplest physical thing, which is still infinitely divisible. Let me read it again. I think there's a V should be in there. Infinitively. That's what it should be. There should be a V in there. So he says, He is not even like the simplest physical thing, which is still infinitively divisible. God is a unique way. There is no other unity like His. The Torah teaches us this second principle when it says, Hear, O Israel, or Shema Yisrael, if those of you familiar with Judaism and know it, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. Shema Yisrael Hashem, Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Now, oneness, as he's saying, is a basic principle of Judaism, the oneness of God, and He's not like us. Now, in the code, the foundations of the Torah, which is the Yad Chazaka of the Rambam, and he writes like this: If one ever allows himself to think that there is another deity other than God, then he violates the commandments, you shall have no other gods before me. Such a person is counted as one who denies the fundamental principle, so we call that kofir be'ikar, that what looks like an L there. It should be an I. But anyway, Kofer Be'ikr, since this is the great principle upon which everything else depends. Number 1:7, he says, God is one. He is not two or more than two, but one, a unity. His unity, however, is like none other in the world. He is not one like a speech species, which still encompasses many individuals. He is not one like a physical thing, which can be divided into parts and dimensions. He is one with a unity that is absolutely unique. If there were many deities, then they would have to have bodies and physical existence. This is because similar things can only be separated through their physical quality, so they have to be different physically. If God were physical, then he would have to be finite. This is because it is impossible for anything physical to be infinite. If his body were finite, however, then his power would also be finite. But, he says, we know that God's power is infinite and continuous. It is therefore not associated with anything physical, since he is not physical. However, there could be no physical qualities separating him from another similar being. There can therefore only be one God. Now, of course, those of you who are familiar with Judaism know that our Hebrew, the Hebrew language at any rate of Judaism, that you know that there are many names for God. So in English, you have this one name. It's a three-letter name, God. But actually, what we refer to as God is really, well, we have different ways of saying it. To know this, that therefore there can only be one God, to know this is a commandment of the Torah. It is thus written, Hear, O Israel, the Lord, that is one of the names of God, translated as Yud-Keh Vav-Keh in Hebrew, is our God. And he said, the Lord is one. Okay, that's what it says. Here we go from the Yad also in the section on Tshuva, and he says, 5 are in the category of the non-believer, which in Hebrew is called a min. One who admits that the world has a master, but says that there are two or more. Baruch Fleischman here, Tikkun Elevator Kolo, and that was the second principle of the holy Rambam known as Maimonides.